or quietly and follow along. At any point, click the pause button to catch up or take a break. Hello, today we're going to be doing a form of printmaking, and it's called squish print. Printmaking, remember, is when an artist is using a technique to make a copy of something to duplicate it somewhere on their art piece. Squish print is a really cool technique when you have a piece of paper that you fold in half like a book, and then we open it. When we paint only on one side, the paint is transferred, therefore making a copy to another area of our artwork. It's an amazing technique, and today we're going to be making mittens to practice it. First things first, you have a piece of paper, and I need you to have it the long way across your tummy or it going landscape mode. You're going to fold the paper in half so it's like a book and press down so you have a really nice crease. I have folded it the hamburger way, so it looks like this. After you have a really nice crease, open up your paper, and I need you to grab a pencil. We're now going to start to shape our mittens. I'll be using a Sharpie marker so you can see it nice and clear. So the amazing thing about a squish print, and it will come super handy when we make our mittens, is not only are we copying some area of our page to another area, but it's also being symmetrical or reflecting evenly on both sides. That's what it means to be symmetrical. When half of our paper or our artwork is divided in half, and it's the same thing both sides. So for example, it's the same when I lay down my hand. My thumb is towards the center, and when I flip it and it's symmetrical, my thumb is evenly towards the center and it is symmetrical. Let's grab our pencil and begin drawing our mittens. How you're going to do this is, I want you to place your hand like a mitten, meaning all your long fingers are together and your thumb is out. Try to place it as close as you can in the center half of your paper. Do not cross the center crease that we just did. That's going to be coming important later on. When you take your pencil, you're going to go around your fingers, leaving just a little space so they're perfectly snug and fit mittens. Lift up your hand. When you have the bottom of your mitten, we're just going to go where your pencil ended, towards the bottom near your wrist. Draw a line down on the other side as well, near your pinky. Draw a line down and connect the two across. That is a perfectly shaped mitten. Now remember, a print is making a copy of something, so we're going to have another perfectly shaped mitten for our right hand on the other side. That's the beauty of making artwork, and our mittens are always the same. That way our hands, they fit perfectly in there. All right, let's begin with some squish printing. When you squish print, you're going to begin with just a little bit of paint and a paintbrush. It's best if you just take your paintbrush and scoop up a glob of paint. And we're going to do one section at a time. If you'd like to watch the process first, that would be super. We're going to take our paintbrush and go over a small section of our line. And we're gonna stroke it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. This ensures that we have enough paint in that area for it to be copied over, and it'll create a nice bold section of the line. Now we're gonna take our paper and fold it in half like a book. I want you to put your fingers so that it's kind of like in a fist, and we're gonna use the top of our knuckles to then, in circular motions, press on the squished area where we applied paint. This is a perfect amount of pressure. You don't need to really squish or press on your paper to transfer the paint over to the other side. You don't want to have your book closed too long, otherwise the paint will dry and your book will stay shut. So after you're done rubbing, open it up and you will see it is perfectly transferred and evenly spaced. Don't worry about it being a little sloppy, that's okay. Here we go. I'm gonna grab some more paint and we're gonna do the top part of our mitten. 1, 2, 3 strokes. You can even go back and add a touch of color if you'd want. Here we go. Folding my paper back in half and giving it a nice knuckle rub. You want to rub it especially in the areas that you just applied paint. You can go back where you previously added paint, but it's most beneficial to press it and squish it where you just applied paint. And open it back up. Perfect, we have a second mitten starting to transform. We're going to continue around our mitten. 1, 2, 3 strokes, and I'm going to give a little scoop of red in there as well. You can always go back and add more paint if you need to. It's very important. I know it's tempting. You're going to want to add paint to the right side, but that will mess up having perfect symmetrical balance between your mittens. Here we go. Open it back up. Woohoo! Looking really good. I'm gonna keep adding some more paint. 1, 2, 3. A little more. And some red. Close it up and rub, rub, rub. Open it up. This is the most exciting part of printmaking because you never know really how it's gonna look. This is why many famous artists and modern day artists today love the art of printmaking. Our next section is the bottom of our mitten. Here we go. And open it up. Beautiful, wow. Now I'm going to add a little more paint around the side of our thumb. 2 and 3. I'm gonna add a little bit of color. There we go. Close it up and rub, 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 rub. It's a very fun process and it's also very exciting. Remember, it's very important that you're doing each step at a time, not adding too much paint at once in too many sections. Awesome. Let's finish up the top tip of our thumb for our mitten, and then we have a nice mitten shape. 2, 3. Folding and rubbing. Okay, here it goes. Awesome. We have 2 perfect and symmetrical mittens for our left and right hand. Now it's to the point where we can start to add designs, but remember the golden rule of squish printing. We're only working on one side and then folding. That way it's the same and we're making a copy for our other hand. I'm gonna be making red mittens, so I'm gonna just really go back and enhance the red. Make sure you have a good amount of paint. I'm gonna be painting the tips of my mittens red. So I'm just adding a good amount of paint to the left side. Here we go. All right, perfect. Now I'm gonna add a stripe design in my mitten. So I'm gonna go and use blue paint. I'm just gonna add a small stripe, and it's okay, I didn't really change my brush or wash it. I'm just using that color and I'm just really making sure I add a lot of paint. It's kind of a good way to check to make sure that you're changing out your color or making sure you're having enough paint. If you still have your previous color on your paintbrush, which is on your paper, that just means you need to add more, in this case, blue. I'm gonna add a touch of white just because I do want a nice light blue. Okay, here we go. Let's see how the design on our mitten is gonna look. Now, a lot about printmaking is trial and error. So a lot of printmakers, it takes them a lot of tries to get the perfect print. That's the exciting part of it too. Is it gonna be perfect? Actually, yeah, I really like that. Perfect. I'm gonna move on, and now I can design and decorate the bottom of my mittens. I'm going to now do some green. I really like how the colors blend. I'm gonna try not to go too much to the edge this time. I'm gonna do like a green section here. Making sure I have enough paint. Remember, you'll have enough paint when you don't really have to, when you don't see any old colors on there. Okay, I'm gonna add just a touch of white because I kind of want to lighten it up, and I like how it gives it that little frosted look, like my mittens were outside or something in the snow. Folding it in half and knuckle rub. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth with our green. Amazing. Isn't this fun? I'm gonna finish up, and I think I'm gonna do a yellow thumb and maybe an orange-ish bottom near the cuff. I don't know, we'll see. Definitely gonna need some more yellow paint. Okay, a little more white to give it that little frosted look. Here we go, yellow thumb. Folded it nicely in half. You want to make sure your paper is directly in half. That's why that crease is so important. Otherwise, your print will be off. Rub, 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 rub. Okay, here we go. Oh, awesome. Little smudge. That means I added a little too much paint, but I really like it, and they're still pretty good looking mittens. So I'm going to continue on with my last color, and I'm kind of just going to let it be whatever it is towards the bottom. I have a little bit of brown. Oops! Now, I did that on purpose because I want you to see, and it may not be too noticeable in this example, but if you were to print on the right side, what will happen is when you fold it in half, things may not line up, and you're gonna get two designs trying to print at the same time, and they will squish, squish, squish together and kind of look blurry. But we'll see how this turns out. It's very hard not to print on the right side. You're gonna wanna do it. Resist. Show control. Everyone does it though. It's human instinct. Here we go. So this is a good example of that I did not have enough paint down here on this part of my mitten. And you can see how this brown spot, the darker brown that I added, is now transferred over, and how it just, the paint kind of blurred together, and I wasn't getting a nice even design. That's okay. If you ever want to touch up something on your print, all you have to do is go back to your left side and add a little more paint. And do the fold and knuckle rub again. Let's see how it turns out. You're not going to want to do this too many times. It might smear your paint and it might start to get a little ooky, but a few times is not going to hurt. There we go. Much better. And then it kind of fixed up each side. Now, after these are dry, I can cut out my mittens. If I want to fix the shape there, I can. And once it's dry, I can go with a Sharpie marker and add different designs and things like that. Let's take a moment to observe how the texture of the paint really applies to what we're making, and why paint was such a good choice for this. Not only because the Squish print, we got a really good even pair of mittens, but if you look close to your paint and how the paint blends, it looks a lot like fabric and knitted fabrics. Especially when mittens are really worn, they tend to get a little fuzzier, and I just really like how those materials match how things are naturally kind of occurring in our world as we use them and wear them. So that's thinking like an artist and Squish printing like an artist. Thank you for creating mittens with me.